Earlier this year, it was announced that CrowdSec, a real-time global IP reputation system, was made available to OPNSense firewall users. Today I'm going to show you how we can leverage this awesome product to automatically ban threat actors that attempt to attack our systems, including how to integrate CrowdSec with the NAXSI web application firewall running on OPNSense. Let's jump in. In the previous video, I showed you how to set up a NAXSI web application firewall, or WAF, on your OPNSense firewall. It would make sense to check that video out before continuing with this one, as I assume for this video that you already have an understanding of how a WAF works on OPNSense. So as we stand, the NAXSI WAF prevents injection attacks to our web applications behind the firewall. However, NAXSI does not offer us any means to automatically block or ban repeated attack attempts on our systems. So this is where CrowdSec comes in. To keep this video a reasonable length, I'm not going to go into a huge amount of detail about CrowdSec, but basically there are three main components that make CrowdSec work. The first being a parser service that you configure to parse your log files, and it looks for patterns of interest. The parser then enriches and normalizes this information and assigns relevant bits of information found in the log file, like source and destination IP addresses, timestamps, and so on, to variables that are then handed over to the next component called a scenario. The scenario service is basically the logic behind how CrowdSec remediates or deals with the offending IP address of the threat actor, and stores these decisions or signals in a database via its local API. The final component is referred to as a bouncer, and as the name suggests, basically enforces these signals or decisions by automatically putting the actual firewall rules in place to block the threat actor for the duration configured in the scenario. What makes CrowdSec particularly awesome is that all the threat intelligence gathered by everyone in the CrowdSec community is shared amongst the community members in real time, essentially creating a security blanket through a safety in numbers approach. Just a few notes before we walk through the configuration. CrowdSec has a community hub where people can contribute their custom parsers and scenarios. I'll be submitting the parser and scenario I created there in the future. However, for now, you can freely and conveniently access both the files on my channel's GitHub. There's also a detailed write-up walking you through the installation, and in the future, I'll also be migrating more of my content away from my blog and into GitHub, hopefully to get more exposure in the GitHub community. So to start, you're going to firstly need to install the CrowdSec plugin on your OPNSense firewall. As you can see, I've already updated and installed the CrowdSense plugin. It's pretty simple. You'll just click on the little install plus sign next to the plugin that you'd like to install, and that'll do the installation for you. So once CrowdSec has been installed, you'll notice that it creates a new menu item under the services, and then places it in CrowdSec. And then in here we have a few settings that we can change. This is just basically got to do with enabling CrowdSec and the local API on your firewall. All these settings here you can just leave as default. And then we have this overview menu where we can see all of our machines, being the firewall connected to it, our bouncers, which are actively blocking the attempts or the attack attempts that come from our scenarios that our scenarios have identified. And we can see all of the, for example, installed scenarios on this particular machine, as well as the parsers. And then the final tab I just want to show you here is the decisions one. Right now, we don't have any active decisions or active blocks on this firewall, so this is currently empty. However, this is where you'll come and see any of the decisions or the block decisions that your firewall or that CrowdSec has made, should you have any attacks against your systems. Currently, not a great deal of configuration can be done using the dashboard or the GUI for CrowdSec. At the moment, it's mainly just displaying information that's stored on the system. So In order to configure CrowdSec completely, you need to firstly enable SSH on your OPNSense firewall, and so we can have access to its command line. By default on OPNSense, SSH has been disabled. However, it's pretty easy to enable it. You'll need to go to System, Setting, and Administration, and you'll scroll down to the Secure Shell section, and you'll simply select Enable Secure Shell. You'll leave your groups as just being wheel and admin, and in this case, just for the sake of simplicity, you can allow root login, and you can set the authentication method to password logging. The port we'll leave as 22, and if you're accessing this from your LAN, it's probably recommended to set that. However, by default, it'll have listening interfaces set to all, and then you'll simply click save at the bottom, and you'll have SSH access on your OPNSense firewall. I do, however, recommend that if this is a production machine, that if you do this, that you disable it again when you're done with these configurations. It just hardens the device a little bit better, and most of the configurations for OPNSense can be done through the GUI anyway, so there's no real need to have this active all the time or accessible all the time. To SSH into your OPNSense firewall, you can use something like PuTTY, like I have, and then you'll see you'll have this login prompt. The username and password here is going to be whatever your login is set for the dashboard. So in this case, mine is just default, so it'll be root, and then the password is OPNSense. And then once you've logged in, you'll see you'll have a couple of options here that you can configure, like assigning IP addresses and interfaces and so forth. To be able to get into the shell on this machine, you'll just simply type in 8, and then you will see you have a shell like everybody is familiar with, which is the backend BSD operating system, which OPNSense is based on. All of the configurations that we're going to be doing moving forward is going to be done through this shell. So once you've successfully got shell on your OPNSense firewall, you'll head over to GitHub, and I've put all the commands and everything that you need here to make it easy for you. So first of all, we are going to then change the directory to this one over here. This is where all the CrowdSec plugin components are installed on OPNSense. And then the first configuration change that we are going to make is we're going to be editing this acquisition file. Now basically, this acquisition file just tells CrowdSec where it needs to go and find that log that we're looking for, that it's going to be parsing for us. So in this case, right at the top of that file, you'll see if you use like a editor like Nano or Vim, you'll see that there'll be a structure like this in that file. It always starts with a file name, and then it'll have the log that it points to. So in this case, it's pointing to var log nginx, and then this is the name of that app that I have behind my NAXSI firewall. It's just www.dvwa.local. This will be different in your case. So whatever name or location you set in your NAXSI configuration, this is the log file that's going to appear there, and then it's a .error log. This is the one of interest. With the labels, we're just going to leave it as you can see in the configuration here, and then with the type, we're going to set as NAXSI. Once you're done with that, you're going to save that file. The next part of the setup is we need to create our parser. So what we'll do is we're going to then navigate to this directory over here, and we're going to then create a parser.yaml file. Once again, I used Nano to do this, and I just gave it a name, OPNSense_NAXSI_logs.yaml, just for ease of identification. And then what you'll do is you'll then copy all of this configuration that I've created for you already into that YAML file. Just a basic walkthrough of what this does. It's pretty simple. It has a name that makes it unique, and the description, just so everybody's aware of what it does. Basically, this parser goes and looks at that log file that we added in the acquisition file in the previous step. And what it will do is it uses these things called a grok pattern. Essentially, what a grok pattern is it uses a combination of regular expressions to work through a typical log item or an item that we see in the log, and then it allows us to basically create some structure around that log item so we can use that information in CrowdSec to identify the source IP and the timestamp. So this is quite a long process to get right. I've done all of this for you, so you don't have to worry about recreating it, but I mean, you can see it's quite a process. But if we look at the pattern here, it'll look for a match, and then it looks for example, like date stamp, and then it assigns it to the timestamp variable. And here, once again, we have your IP or host for the source IP. That's an important one that we're looking for. And then if we scroll back here, you can see that these statics are basically these variables, like timestamp, for example, has been assigned to the timestamp variable, which CrowdSec uses, and the same with the source IP address and so on. One of the values here that is quite important, which we need in later steps, is we need to stipulate the log type, and we need to give it a value. So in this case, I just called it the WAF underscore attack underscore event. This is going to be needed in the next step when we set up our scenario. So to set up the scenario, you are going to navigate over to this directory over here. And then once again, we're going to create a scenario.yaml file. You could just copy and paste what I have here. But basically, just to walk through this, the type in this case that we're going to be using is a trigger. There are other types as well. It uses a bucket system, and it uses different triggers like leaky bucket and things like that. Basically, a trigger means, in this case, in the case of CrowdSec, that the bucket will be immediately full, meaning that it will trigger the event immediately. If it was a leaky bucket, then you could create some kind of like a duration between how full the bucket needs to be before the trigger is set off, essentially. So it can kind of like monitor an attacker IP address. If he's making multiple brute force attempts at your system, you can have some kind of like a counter in place to say when it's reached a certain amount and the bucket overflows, that he will then be blocked. However, in this case, because we are blocking injection attacks, I've decided just to set it up as a trigger where it immediately will create a full bucket, and then it'll ban the user. So in this case, I've just called mine a OPNSense underscore NAXSI WAF event, and once again, just a bit of a description. Then this filter over here is looking for that log type which we spoke about earlier. So we're going to then point it to the WAF underscore attack underscore event log, which we created in the parser. And in this case, we're just interested really in the source IP address. So we're going to group it by the source IP address that we captured within the parser as well. And I just called the service NAXSI, since we're dealing with NAXSI, and the type is a WAF security event. And the remediation value we've set to true. This value just basically tells the bouncer, which is the next step, that we need to remediate this, and we would then look at it on a scope of the IP, which is the source IP, and that expression that we are using over here would be the source IP that we got from our parser. All this information is then going to be fed into the bouncer. The bouncer comes pre-configured for this firewall. So we're not going to be doing any editing on the bouncer itself. That's just left as default. The final step that we are going to be doing is just doing a minor change to the profile.yaml file. So once again, you will get back into your main CrowdSec directory and you'll look for profile.yaml. And we simply are just going to be changing the duration to 5 minutes. Usually by default this is set to 4 hours. However, I just thought because this is a lab, you don't want to accidentally lock yourself out of your system for 4 hours. So I suggest you just set this to 5 minutes. However, if it's a production environment, this is your choice how long you would like to ban a potential attacker. You'll be able to see here, for example, like with this profile, it just determines what the default remediation would be if an attack happens. So it looks for filters, it'll look for remediation equals true, as we said in our scenario. And then the scope that it looks on is that IP that we spoke about earlier. And this is that IP that gets passed from the scenario that we pulled out of our log, the source IP. And this is where we can set up our decision. So what do we want to do? We want to ban that user for 5 minutes. And then there's also a few other options here where we can set it up to send notifications to, for example, like Slack or Splunk or an email. We are not going to configure any of those for this lab, but the option is there if you would like to send a notification. If this profile triggers and a block is put in place, you can have an alert sent to any of those sort of platforms as well. So once you've successfully managed to get your acquisition set up, your parser, your scenario, and you've made the edit to the profile, you'll need to then just restart the entire CrowdSec service. So the most simple way of doing this from the command line is just service CrowdSec restart, and the entire service will restart and you'll be ready to test. I also just want to quickly mention that CrowdSec has a limited GUI in OPNSense, as we saw. However, it has a comprehensive command line tool that we can use. So to access it, within the shell, you'll just type CSCLI, and then you can just have a -H, which will then give you all of the help information about this particular CLI. But from here, you can see you can manage all aspects of your CrowdSec installation, ranging from installing your bouncers to your configurations, dashboard, all those kind of things. So you have a full control over CrowdSec from within your command line. Okay, just to quickly show you how this works, I've logged into my damn vulnerable web app again, and we're just gonna launch a attack against this, a command injection. Let's do something like this. And you can see that the request has been denied for security reasons by OPNSense, as we saw in the previous video. However, I just quickly want to show you that if we go into our command line and we type in CSCLI decisions and we say list, then you'll be able to see that CrowdSec has now blocked this attacker for the reason OPNSense NAXSI WAF event, and it's been set as a ban. And then this is the scope value of the IP address, which we blocked, that got pulled from our log. And then this is the duration or the expiration of that particular ban. So in this case, there's about 4.5 minutes or so left of our 5-minute ban. And now that user is completely blocked out from any of our systems. They won't be able to do anything. So that just shows that CrowdSec and NAXSI and the integration is all working as we intended. If you've enjoyed and found value in this video, please consider liking and subscribing. Your support is always appreciated. And as always, if you have any comments or questions, please put them in the comments section below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys soon. Cheers for now.